Hello, and welcome to another video. Today we are at Toronto Motorsports Park, and we're going to do some lapping. Alright, so like I said, we are at Toronto Motorsports Park. Today it's kind of a shakedown of the car after the winter, after all the things that we've done on it. So we've already in a previous video talked about all the power mods that we have done to the car. Also, in our other video, we talked about all the suspension things that we did to the car. Mostly we talked about all the braces that we put in the car from Hard Race and Serie Moto, just to stiffen up the chassis. The car did have quite a bit of flex and whatnot going on with it, so I'm really intrigued to see how that changes things around. Two things that we haven't talked about in our other videos that I want to highlight is the tires that we are now using. So we are now using Bridgestone Vitesse's RE71 RS. It is the replacement for the 71R. And I'm really intrigued to see how they perform. There's been a lot of good things said about it on the internet, so I kind of want to see how it feels for myself. So far, more grip, more endurance than the previous one, so you can't go wrong with that. The next thing I want to talk about is the differential. From factory, this car does come with a limited slip helical style differential. We have switched that out for a plated style differential, and this is from Momentum Motorsports. This is 3J series differential, and this was recommended to me by a good friend, James Powder. He runs it in his Bullet TSX that has been dominating GLTC. So we'll see what it does for the Civic. So outside of that, let's hop in the car and go for a ride. So before we actually hop in the car, there's one more thing that I actually forgot to leave out. And it's a big deal. If you remember watching some of my in-car footage from last year, you'll remember I was sliding around for my life. And now we have a Sparco QRT R seat. This thing is extremely light and it holds me in the car pretty well. So I'm really excited to see how that feels on track, and if it helps me improve my times or if it just makes me not so dead at the end of the day. So now we'll hop out and see how it feels. Alright, and we are on track, and first I just want to kind of give you an impression of how I'm feeling about the car. Right off the bat, it is very direct and willing to rotate. It is very, tons of grip. These tires are phenomenal. These tires are phenomenal, and I'm just, this is lap 1.5, and tire pressures are kind of high and stuff like that, so there's a lot to be desired from them. The power just feels a little bit more. It doesn't feel dramatic, but what I do like is the extra RPMs I have to play with. And that makes it a lot easier for me. There's areas where I was finding on certain tracks I would kind of hit the limiter in an awkward area, and I wouldn't want it upshift because it would waste a little bit of time. So yeah, this actually feels really, really good. The car is so grippy. So grippy. Listen to that. But not much was done to the brakes, so the brakes kind of feel the same. On on roads, because this does clunk and do a few things, but the trade-off is completely worth it. Jeez. Yeah, I'm having a blast. I'm gonna bring it in, kind of look over the car quick, make sure everything's good, fluid's good. Alright peeps, so I just want to update you on the day so far. So far, great. Everything's going pretty much according to plan. The car is picked up basically about half a second on my personal best so far, which I'm pretty happy about. I am dealing with what seems to be a power issue. I don't really know how to explain it, but the car is just not as fast in a straight line. There's no other real way to explain it. I've looked at my corner speeds. All my corner speeds are up. That's how I'm getting the faster lap time. My exit onto the straights is faster too, by at least about like 4 or 5 kilometers, which is pretty impressive. But it's just not carrying that speed down the straight. I'm actually losing speed compared to what the car was doing last year, which, considering all the things that have been done to the engine, doesn't really make sense to me. So it's going to be back to the drawing board on that. It's a good thing that I wanted to come out for lapping and testing, because I would have been very upset at a competition day trying to figure out why the car is so much slower. Yeah, I'm going to sit down, do some mathematics, and try to figure out why the jam is not jamming. But otherwise, these tires, my first little impression on them, they were great until I actually got some heat into them, heat cycled them a little bit, and now they're absolutely unreal. They're very fast. They're not as forgiving as the Contis, I would say, and they're not as audible. So it is a tire that you need to pay a lot more attention to, and just to make sure you don't overcook or anything like that. The Contis were really good at letting me know what was going on. These tires, on the other hand, they just grip. They just hook and grip. So yeah, I'm still at the point where the car is, when I go to a corner, I turn in. I actually turn out of it a little bit because the car is turning in so well. I'm not used to it. So it's that's a combination of the braces making the car that much more responsive, and the tires just being absolutely insane. I'm still fiddling with the tire pressures. I think now, heading into the afternoon here, I think I've got the tire pressures kind of where I want them to be. But yeah, the car is rocking, and it is doing some good stuff.
I'm still cracking off the winter rust and trying to get myself back into driving form. So I personally think that there's still probably another half a second left in the car as it stands right now before we address the power issues. But yeah, just for context, at the straight here at Toronto Motorsports Park, I'm about 5 to 6 kilometers slower in a straight line, which doesn't make sense at all. If I was the same or maybe just a slight bit higher, I would still probably be concerned a bit, but not as concerned as being slower in a straight line, considering I'm coming onto the straights faster. So definitely a power issue. Look at the data log. I don't see anything standing out at me, so maybe get a tuner involved and we'll kind of address it together. But yeah, I'm gonna have a quick snacky snack, get myself all relaxed, and probably do 1 or 2 more sessions for the day before I call it in.
All right, so that is a wrap on our day today. Overall, I want to say it was a success. We did shave basically 0.9, like a second, off of our previous personal best from last year. I don't think the track was basically at its optimal today, so maybe there's a little bit more time in it. But yeah, Carrera's performing great. No real complaints with it. There obviously is the power issue that we have going on. At least I think it's a power issue. I'm going to review the data a little bit more thoroughly and kind of figure out what's going on, right? Because I know my top speed is lower, but everything else is faster. So whether it is a power issue or if there's something that I'm doing kind of wonky coming onto the straights, I'll be able to review that, figure it out, and try to change that for the next session. Kind of just looking at everything, the few extra 100 RPMs that I have to play with in the rev range is amazing because I'm not hitting the limiter anymore. So I can rev it out freely, not having to worry about that. I don't make a whole lot of power up in those RPMs, but it's just nice to have it so I don't have to shift at certain points. But I am still shifting a little bit earlier, about 7,500, just because the power really falls off there. So keeping it lower is ideal. Next, I would say is the diff. The differential is amazing. The fact that the car's steering with the throttle, basically applying more power just turns the car more is intense. The differential is strong and it does a lot of work, and it helps get the car out of the corner. It kind of mitigates understeer with throttle, which is something I'm going to have to kind of remember and figure it out as I go. For a front wheel drive car, it's kind of the opposite, but it's great. It works to an extent. Obviously, the tires are going to be the limiting factor. But speaking of these tires, they have grip for days, so I don't think there's that much of a limiting factor. These tires turn on in basically a lap, and they just stay on for about 4 or 5 laps. They will fall off a little bit at that point, but only a hair, and they kind of plateau at a different level, and they just continue to go on from there. So first impression of the tires, these are amazing. I think like I was saying before, they're not as audible as the Conti Extreme Contact Forces I had last year, and not as forgiving. If you overdo it, you have overdone it. Where those Contis, the range is pretty big, so yeah, easier tire to learn and drive on and kind of thrash about on. These have to be respected a little bit more. But when they are on and they are fast. So I'm really happy with that. And I think the next thing that's kind of making everything work together better is the braces. Hard Race provided us with the strut tower bars and the subframe braces and all those things that we put on the car this year. And it has transformed the feel of the car. So everything is much more direct and much more on point. The lower control arms being spherical is a huge game changer for these chassis because those bushings are pretty soft from factory. So having this is a game changer. Last but not least, the Sparco QRT seat. That seat is a game changer. It's the end of a lapping day, and normally I'm pretty destroyed and I can barely stand up properly, and my core is just tired from holding me up the entire day. The seat did that today, so I feel actually really good. And the amount of information that you get from the car now is so good because I'm not really worried about what the car's going to do in a corner or not because I'm now can feel it. So as I got more acquainted with that, I'm more comfortable with it. I felt more comfortable to push it, knowing that I'm going to figure out what's going on because the seat's going to kind of send that through and I'm going to be able to feel that. So the seat is a huge game changer for me. Not being destroyed is obviously a positive. I feel nice and fresh at the end of the day, but also just the information I'm able to get now from that is immense. So that's gonna help a lot. I'm sure that there's other mods that I've done over the winter that have kind of equated up to this. Able to get a little bit more camber with just a few alignment adjustments. The toe settings, trying something a little bit different. So we'll see how that pans out. And yeah, all the engine work, those combination of parts kind of allow me to rev out the engine more freely and make a little more power at the end. So once we diagnose or figure out what's going on with that, I'll be sure to let you guys know. But yeah, I think I'm going to wrap it there. Thank you so much for watching the video today. If you like this type of content, definitely leave us a like and subscribe to the channel because there's going to be more of this type of content coming up. I will be competing in different series, different things going on with the car, lots of stuff coming up. So definitely subscribe and like the video, and also hit the notification bell so that you know when the next video comes out. All right, so I think that's going to be it. Thank you so much for watching. Till the next one. Take care.